Norovirus cases
Ah.
surge in the UK. Surge, we've had this word in a previous episode.
Hmm.
Basically, increased dramatically. But yeah, norovirus, and I heard also here in Japan, similar
Mm.
situation is happening. So it's a bit of a crazy time. Let's go through the article, and then we'll go over a little bit of pronunciation and the definitions, the key thing. This is from the PDF as well. So if you want to grab the PDF with the full article, we'll only be going over the first two paragraphs for this one. If you want to get the full article and all of the definitions and some practice material to try and help you remember the vocabulary, get it in the description. It's there for you. It's free. Okay, here we go. In February 2025, England experienced an unprecedented surge in norovirus cases, with hospitals admitting an average of 1,160 patients daily, a 22% increase from the previous week, and more than double the figures from the same period last year. This sharp rise has placed additional strain on the National Health Service, which is already contending with higher bed occupancy rates and the pressures of other winter illnesses. Norovirus, commonly known as the winter vomiting bug, is highly contagious and leads to symptoms such as sudden onset nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. The virus spreads rapidly in communal settings like hospitals, schools, and care homes, often necessitating the closure of entire wards to prevent further transmission. Health officials attribute the current outbreak to prevent. Health officials attribute the current outbreak to a combination of factors, including the emergence of a new norovirus variant, G1117, and a return to pre-pandemic social behaviours which may have led to reduced adherence to hygiene practices. Okay, big story. A couple of key pronunciations to look at, pieces of pronunciation to look at, which is definitely the diseases here. We got nausea, vomiting, and one that many people get incorrect for pronunciation, diarrhea. I also want to highlight contagious, contagious, and also this huge word here, necessitating. Okay, those are the key pieces of pronunciation to look at. Dan, what do you think? Big story.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's mad, isn't it? Like we had the pandemic, and then people don't seem to have learned very much from that, to be honest. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, it's over, back to normal life, and then, you know, it feels like, and also, I don't know how you feel about it. When I was young, we never got like new strains of viruses, or if they were, we never heard about it. We just, oh, it's this year's neurovirus. Like it's like
Yeah.
FIFA, you just got a new number every year, but it was the same thing.
Yeah.
And it was a bit like that, but nowadays it's always like, oh, there's a new strain, there's a new this, and I'm like, is it? I
I
don't know.
think when we were younger, there was less, there was less ability to travel abroad. I think, or it wasn't
Mm,
as accessible to everyone. Let's put it that way. So
sure, sure.
now it's ridiculously cheap to travel anywhere in Europe, especially. So I think that that's one of the main factors, probably. And obviously, people move into different places, and all of these things. Even moving between countryside and the city has increased dramatically
Mm,
since we were younger. So, yeah,
sure.
yeah, we were using wooden carriages when we were younger.
Ah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We
Okay,
didn't
so
have none of these fancy Nintendos. We just had a stick.
stick and a circle. I don't even know what that thing is. Okay, so let's go through some definitions quickly. The first one is going to be unprecedented.
Unprecedented. I'm sure this has come up in a previous episode, but never been seen or done before. The first time on a scale that we've never seen before.
The thing is, guys, you need to learn this one because you'll see it a lot in the news because they
Yeah.
love to overhype everything. So everything
Everything's
is
unprecedented.
unprecedented. Yeah, it's a ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. If you're in the UK, every year it will say that the rainfall is at unprecedented levels, or the heat from the sun is at unprecedented levels. The temperature. So you're going to see
18
it a lot.
degrees.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, 18 degrees. Yeah, and might have to put some foil on the window or whatever they did that one time when it was a bit. I was shocked. And then that stat, there was, sorry guys, it's kind of an inside thing a little bit. There was a one year, maybe I'm going to say two or three. No, it must have been during pandemic time, when about 3 or 4 years ago, where the temperature was actually really high in the UK for about a week. maybe 30, maybe more. And the interesting stat that came out of that was 2% of houses in the UK have air cons.
Yeah, I mean, I'd never seen an air conditioner before I moved to Japan.
Exactly the same, but I never thought about it after being here for so long, and then seeing that stat, I was like, "Yeah, that's so right." But if you measured the amount of radiators, you're going to be at 100%.
Yeah, but it's because like our houses are designed to keep heat in, not deal with when it gets hot inside. Like, yeah, it's totally different. But when I came to Japan, I remember moving in my apartment and seeing an air conditioner wall. I'm like, what the bloody hell's that thing? Like, I didn't know what it were. Like, is that for like a fan? Is it like drying clothes? Like, what's that for?
And now you've been converted, yeah.
Now I've got one in every room. I haven't, but, you know.
My new house has one in every room. It's amazing. I'm so happy, yeah.
Fancy.
Because apart from my office, which is annoying because the summers, I hate the summers, man. It's just
the one room where you actually have to work. There's no
I'll be in a different room every week, you know. Okay, so the next word is strain.
Strain. Yeah, like if you imagine you go to the gym, right, and you decide you're going to pick up 150 kilograms, that's probably going to put a bit of a strain on your muscles, isn't it? Like,
I'm still imagining the idea of going to the gym.
Mate, I've been 3 times this year.
3 times this year. I thought you were going to say this week then. Okay.
And every day I'm like, yeah, back on it tomorrow.
Whilst you're eating your Big Mac. Okay. Strain. Strain's a useful word. Strain is definitely a useful word to learn. Strain can be, you could have strain on a relationship, but you could also have strain in terms of like pressure on a physical thing. So it's a very versatile word, very, very useful. So definitely worth learning. Next one is contend. To contend with something or contending.
I mean, depends on the context. Like in boxing, you'll get like 2 contenders that are fighting each other. But basically, it's like if you're contending with a problem, for example, you know, you're struggling to deal with it. You know, you're trying to find a way to overcome it, but it's not easy. So, yeah.
It's like Tottenham trying to get a Premier League trophy.
Hey!
They are definitely not contenders, that's for sure. Okay,
we need to get a bingo card for this thing. It's like, you know, like watch along with us bingo. It's like Stu rags on Tottenham. Dan's got some unbelievable story that's vaguely connected to what we're talking about. That's, you know, he worked with a guy that were in the news for having a load of guns or whatever. And, you know, neither of us can read the bloody article.
Well, that's me the last couple of times. I'm struggling a little bit.
We need to, so if you're listening to this and you know how to make bingo cards, you know what to do.
Yeah. Play along with us. Vomiting.
Yeah. I like in Japan they call it reverse. Like I quite enjoy that.
Yeah.
To do reverse, as in, like you put the food in, then it comes out the opposite way. Reverse.
Makes sense though, doesn't it?
Yeah. To throw up, I suppose, is the word that I would probably use more than
throw up. Yeah. Throw up or puke.
Yeah.
Chuck up.
Puke. Yeah. Chuck up. That's a good one.
Puke is.
My mum used to call it shouting Ralph.
What's this nonsense?
Because you go to the toilet and it's like you're shouting Ralph. Ralph.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, fair enough. Ralph. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. How funny is that? I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. And next one is contagious.
Yeah, contagious. It's easily spread. You know.
So I think this is a word that most people should know because of the recent times with the pandemic.
Especially the pandemic, it was everywhere, wasn't it? Contagious.
Specifically, the word contagious was popping up a lot. Yeah. So we should have learned it. But yeah, it refers to anything that can be easily transmitted between people, essentially.
Yeah.
And can it be animals as well? I assume so. Yeah, anything that could be moved
between
two elements.
Well, I've got 2 cats, and like you have to be careful with like feline AIDS and stuff like that because I think that's contagious. So I don't know.
I didn't even know that was a thing. That's interesting. Okay.
Me neither. I learned when I went to vet. So
there we go. And sudden onset, quite useful this time.
Yeah, like usually it's sudden onset plus the name of an illness. And basically it means like it happens very quickly. You know. For some reason the one that comes to my head is sudden onset dementia. I don't know why that particular collocation came to my head, but
Yeah, it does happen, especially with those, because it is exactly that. It's sudden, isn't it?
Like everything's cool, and then like suddenly it's not.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Mm.
unexpected as well. Yeah, so
Mm.
yeah, it shocks people. I think it's just a polite way to say that comes quickly.
It's
Essentially.
bloody rapid. That's what they
It's,
say.
it's just like that. Okay, said Tommy Cooper. Okay.
Managing doctor. Oh dear. Bloody rapid this.
Okay, now it's Dan's special time. Here we go. Dan's going to read the script.
Special time, everyone. Get ready.
Dan's gonna surprise us all with his fantastic reading. Just the reading, though, Dan, please. Just the reading.
Yeah, all right. It depends how special this special time is, doesn't it? Oh dear. Right. Let me compose myself.
Yeah, you need to.
Right. In February 2025, England experienced an unprecedented surge in norovirus cases, with hospitals admitting an average of 1,160 patients daily, a 22% increase from the previous week, and more than double the figures from the same period last year. The sharp rise has placed additional strain on the NHS, which is already contending with a high bed occupancy rates and the pressures of other winter illnesses. Norovirus, commonly known as the winter vomiting bug, is highly contagious and leads to symptoms such as sudden onset nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. The virus spreads rapidly in communal settings like hospitals, schools, and care homes, often necessitating the closure of entire wards to prevent further transmission. Health officials attribute whichever, the current outbreak to a combination of factors, including the emergence of a new norovirus variant, GI Joe, and a return to pre-pandemic social behaviors, which may have led to reduced adherence to hygiene practices. There we go.
There we go.
One thing I want to mention, because it came up in a lesson the other day. When we say winter vomiting bug, we're not talking about some insect, all right? Like, it's not a real bug. It's not like you've got some worm in your stomach that's making you feel sick. Like, just to clarify, just in case anybody's ever thought that. Because it's come up in a couple of lessons this week, so yeah, I thought I should clarify.
Thank you very much for the clarification. Yeah,
you're welcome, mate.
I completely
Have you ever had
understand.
norovirus?
Yes, I have. It's the first time I ever had it was in Japan, and I think it was maybe
too.
the second year I was here, and it was
me
horrific.
too. Like the first year I was here, yeah.
It was horrific. Like,
Yeah,
really.
I really struggled. Mate, do you know norovirus is the reason I learned Japanese properly?
Wow, I wish it did the same effect on me.
No, it's not like I got this virus and suddenly I could speak Japanese. That's not what I mean. After a rather difficult trip to the doctors, where unbeknown to me, because I couldn't understand what the doctor was saying, I found myself on a bed having a camera introduced to me that I didn't expect. And that moment, when I was laying on that bed, uncomfortable as you can possibly be, I thought, yeah, I should probably learn Japanese. That was the catalyst for me actually learning Japanese properly. So
It was an experience, though.
And there we go. And that's Dan's unrelated, vaguely related story to the news. So there we go.
The tedious link for today. Okay. Yeah, that's a kind of
horrible, horrible virus.
Crazy scenario, though, that one that you went through, yeah. Okay, we're going
to... I tried to drink my body weight in Pocari Sweat, which is quite a famous drink around here.
Everybody loves the sweat. So let's go for a quiz, and then we'll get a bit more into detail on this one. Quiz time. Here we go. So the hospital was under severe due to the increasing number of patients with the flu. What are the potential answers, Dan?
We've got contending, vomiting, strain, and contagious.
Delightful. Okay, we're going to give you 5 seconds. Pick your answer now. Here we go. Okay.
Wow.
What is the answer, Dan?
So the answer is strain. So the hospital... Oh, no, wait, you need to read it out.
The hospital was under severe strain due to the increasing number of patients with the flu. So strain is the answer, yes. Let's go into the next one.
Cool. So the new virus spread quickly because it was highly blah, 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 making it difficult to contain. What are options?
The answers potentially are unprecedented, let's move the mouse, contagious, sudden onset, and contending.
Wicked. So we've got 5 seconds. Here we go. That was a symbol at the end. The
yeah. I thought you did a joke or something. Okay.
So what is the answer?
The answer is dun 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 contagious.
So the new virus spread quickly because it was highly contagious, making it difficult to contain. Oh dear.
Oh dearie indeed. So we talked a little bit during this one about potential cameras in our bodies, but have you? Well, the topic I want to ask you about is masks.
All right. Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Very controversial for some people. I don't know why people get so upset about this topic.
Yeah,
but
people got
masks.
really upset, didn't they?
Yeah.
I don't care at all. It's kind of odd to wear a mask with a beard because you've got this mask and just like this little hair poking out the bottom. It's a bit strange, to be honest. But
like cress in a pot.
There's these little like scraggly hairs out of the bottom. But honestly, I didn't care at all during the pandemic. I think it may be because we're in Japan where people just wear masks generally and it's not considered a big thing. But then again, after the pandemic, when I started seeing people's face on the street again, at first it was a bit like, oh yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, we've lived in Japan for a long time, both of us. So when I first came to Japan and I saw so many people wearing masks, I thought there was a big gang here. No, it's just like people were wearing masks way before the pandemic hit. They've been wearing it for many years because they've had so many of these big outbreaks happen, like SARS or something. So part of the reason is from that, I believe, and then part of it is like generally people don't want to pass on their illnesses. Now, some people are going to say, or they don't want to catch something as well.
Yeah,
they don't want time off work.
There's 3 reasons, isn't there? There's like they don't want to get something, they don't want to transmit what they've got, or as one of my female co-workers told me, is that she couldn't be bothered to do the makeup on the bottom half of her face.
There we
so
go.
She would wear a mask every day, and I was like, respect.
Yeah.
Good on you.
The top half is orange, the bottom half is not.
Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe it's a mask.
Exactly. Yeah. So, people get. I think it was the way it was implemented during the pandemic. I guess in countries where they're not.
You have a huge amount of like personal freedom. People felt like you've been taken away from it.
Exactly. Yeah, they feel like their rights have been taken away, and then people I think there was such a groundswell of support over the notion that masks do nothing. I don't believe masks do nothing. I think that's nonsense as well. I think if you wear a mask, I think it would also change your mindset a little bit. To think if you see someone like coughing or something, you might move away or so. I think it makes you think about it a bit more. Not just also the mask itself will have some element of
well, they
help.
exist for a reason, The doctors always wear them for a reason. Like they do something, whether they worked in the pandemic or not, I don't know. But yeah, I think just people got upset by a lot of things in the pandemic because they felt like they didn't have a choice. Like they had to wear a mask, they had to get a vaccine in some places, and even I think when something is not an option, even if it's like for me, vaccines and masks were the obvious thing to do. Like, and I had no problem doing those things. Like, cool, whatever. But I think soon as even if it's like a 99% good option against a 1%, if you take that choice away from somebody, they're going to rebel against it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a bit weird. But social media helped with that, like people kicking off about stuff on social media, widespread. And yeah, I didn't really care, truth be told.
Yeah, I think we probably used to. I didn't mind wearing a mask, but to be honest, I think in the second or third year, I stopped taking the train altogether. I just cycled to work. It was like an hour journey, but quite nice to be out in the open, to be honest, during that period of time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know. And did you do that thing where you started buying fancy masks after a while? Like you didn't just buy the cheap ones from the shop. I bought one from Uniqlo, mate. Oof,
Oh,
fancy that.
you mean like a cloth? So that's the one I didn't get actually, to be honest with you. The cloth masks, I get you can like wash them, but
Mm,
surely it's more hygienic to have one and done. Like you use it once and then
mm,
chuck it, and then you don't. There's no potential, you know. But with
mm.
a mask that you carry around, I'm sure there are people that didn't wash them for a week.
No, no. I think it's one of those things. You have to remember there was a point in Japan where you couldn't buy masks
That's true. Yeah,
during
yeah.
the
Sold
pandemic.
out.
Like even companies like Sony moved production away from like TVs to start making masks because they just couldn't keep up. And yeah, can you imagine the concept of Sony making masks? Like it just didn't add up, did it? Like so. But yeah, it were weird. But me personally, I don't care. And still, every now and then, if I'm feeling a bit crap, I'll wear a mask if I go
Yeah, me
outside.
too. So these norovirus cases are getting out of control, but we've got some great vocabulary associated with it so you can understand the news surrounding it now. But did you hear about the US and Russia recent summit in Saudi Arabia? We also picked apart that news article in this video here.